Do not buy a Mazda MX-5. This is not what you would expect a car to look like 1 hour before it's due for an MOT. And that's because this MX-5 isn't living up to its Japanese reliability. I love this car. There's steam coming from the bonnet. If you're new here, I'm Tom Shorrock, and this is trading up from a £200 Ford Focus to a 15 grand BMW E46 M3. It's all good, too soon. What could possibly go wrong? Currently, the MX-5 doesn't have any seats. I've had to take them out because it had an airbag light on the dashboard that I just couldn't get rid of. And it was so frustrating, and there's nothing online to find it apart from one guy that commented on the MX-5 forum, and I'll screenshot it now, and feel free to take a screenshot of this if you have an MB MX-5, because there is nothing on the forums. It said it was a code 11. I had one long flash, one short flash, and it was the pre-tension seat belt on the driver's side, the pyrotechnics on it. So I've had to strip the whole thing down. I've had to take all the door card off to expose the pre-tension seat belt. I've had to pop that out. There's a little plug behind it that had come loose. And now I've got to fit all this door card back on and put both seats back in the car within an hour and get to the MOT test station. I can't tell you how much I'm stressing. I just want this car through an MOT so I can get it sold, and hopefully one of you guys can buy it. So fingers crossed, once I bolt this back together and we jump in the car, we shouldn't have any more issues. Now, if we just go back to the car and turn it on, I want to show you this because honestly, look. This is where I have complete and utter anxiety. Now, there's an airbag light that comes on here, and before I start bolting everything back up, let's just check. It's this light here on the top right that I'm worried about. Please, please. Oh, is it going to come back on? Is it going to come back on? Yes! Yes, it's gone. Right, quick one now. We've got to get this all bolted back together, jump in the car and take it to the test station. Wish me luck. I didn't need these issues on the day of the MOT, and I just hope I can get it completed, leaving enough time to get to the MOT centre. And if luck is on our side, we will, and that means we can sell the MX-5 and move on to the next car in this Trading Up series. But that left me thinking, would it be as fun without the issues we've already had? Just still one more job we need to do, and that was to get rid of this crack in the windscreen. So the cheapest way to do it was to call the insurance. With that done, we should probably clean these headlights because they're fogged up, and that is an MOT fail. So we're going to use a bit of cutting compound, and we're just going to buff them back very quickly, and then we're going. You can probably tell from the screen that the steering wheel is a mile off being straight, and that is because we've messed around with all of the suspension. But what a bit of fun this is. All I can hope now is that it passes its MOT. But before we get there, there's still one thing left to do. We need to give it a quick wash. After all, presentation is key. The only thing that could ruin my day right now is if this doesn't pass its MOT. Or we don't make it to the MOT, something which clearly never entered my mind. There's steam coming from the bonnet. For f***'s sake. It was all good. Too soon. We've overheated, and I don't know why. I'm a mile away from the MOT test station. It's starting to rain.
failed.
So, you join me in the office where hopefully I can give you a bit more context to what actually happened when we was taking the MX-5 for an MOT. This is something that I never forecasted happening. I just didn't think the car was going to overheat, and at first I thought, is there no coolant in it? Because I couldn't remember checking, but I did check because I did a full service on this car before we took it for an MOT. It had new oil, new fuel filter, new air filter, it had new coolant, new brake fluid, it had absolutely everything. But I also noticed that the fan wasn't spinning when the car actually broke down. So I was sat there with two options. Do I A, still go and hopefully we'll get a pass, or do I B, turn around and drive back very, very slowly, stopping before it overheats and go back to the barn to try and diagnose the fault and rebook it in another day? Well, you'd be glad to know I actually proceeded to go to the MOT test centre, but I did have to stop again. I told you I was jinxed, look at that now. And again. I actually stopped 4 times in total over a mile journey just to get there, but before I actually got to the unit, I stopped around the corner, let the car cool down completely, wiped the engine bay over with some cloths that I had in the boot and took them with me, and then I took the car in, and you'll be glad to know it passed. Yes, it passed. It actually passed. I couldn't believe it. There was a couple of advisories, stuff to do with a little bit of rust and corrosion, but we now have quite an alarming issue. If it isn't the fan that is causing the car to overheat, it could be the head gasket. And if it's the head gasket, then we're into an absolute can of worms. But the only way we can find out is back at the barn. So now that we're back at the barn, I need to have a look at what's going on with this car and why it is overheating. One thing that is evident is the fan isn't spinning when it gets hot, and I also think there's a fan missing, but for some reason it's boiling over and we need to look into why. But we have got this car MOT'd for 12 months. The only thing we need to sort now is this annoying overheating. So we're gonna plug it in because it did throw an engine management light on the way back. So let's get this plugged in, see what it is, and then I think we're gonna have to take the radiator off, flush it all through, check the fans working, find out why there is only one fan on the car when there should be 2, and we'll just see if we can sort this problem out. But the fact that it passed, absolute winner. If I just start the car, we have got an engine management light that obviously we need to address, so we'll get it plugged in and see what's going on. I don't want to leave it running for too long because it'll overheat. Just going to pop that out, put the plug in, that's going to beep, turn the reader on, let's go into the pad, it's connecting to the Bluetooth. We're basically just going to do an automatic search on the car and see what that engine management light means. And the ironic thing is that's actually now gone out. There we go, right. It's read the car, it knows it's a 1.6 litre. The thing with the Mark II MX-5 is the OBD port only supports the ABS, the traction control, and the power control module. It doesn't go into any like airbag lights as such. There are no fault codes. Right, so just to be safe, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the fault code memory. Once we sort this overheat problem out, if I take it down the road and it comes back on, I'll have to read it again. With nothing coming back on the OBD scanner, we'll start with checking the fuse to the fan. First, we need to locate it, which is very simple on the MX-5 because there's a label in the engine bay. Now it's removed, we need to go across the prongs, and if I get a beep, it means that the fuse is working and it's not open circuit. It means it's not blown, so. But could it be the thermostat? To inspect it, we first need to remove it and hope it operates in hot conditions. There is something that's rather mysterious with this car, is that there should be another radiator down here, and there isn't. So here's radiator 1, there's the mounting brackets, come over here, mounting brackets, but no radiator 2, and there is the plug for it. So something tells me that that's been removed, and this car has always had overheating issues. It's just that I've not drove it enough to find out. And when you look inside here, this is what I mean. Look at how dry it is on the back side of the thermostat, and there's this little puddle of residue here. Another thing I have noticed whilst doing this is the alternator belt is frayed, and it's actually degraded and perished, especially there and there. So whilst we've got all this off, I think we're going to have to swap that as well. Whilst the thermostat's soaked in boiling water, we may as well flush out the radiator just in case there's any blockages. Oh, me! That very nearly got me in the face. It wasn't the thermostat. I checked it in boiling water, and I even went as far as ordering a new one just to see if it opened any quicker or there was any differentiation in the way that it actually opened, and there wasn't. So I fitted the new one, we put the radiator back on the car, we turned the key, started it up, and after about 25 minutes of running the car, the temperature just climbed and climbed, and obviously I turned it off. Which now leaves us in a position where the only thing left to check is the head gasket. A few people did say to me at the time it could be the impeller on the water pump, because they are known to fail, meaning that the pump would be spinning, the impeller isn't, and it's not pumping water around the engine. I don't believe that is the problem. The issue is, if I want to get down to the water pump, I have to basically do a timing belt replacement, and we're into quite a large sum of money. A timing belt kit's around £200. With the tiny bit of profit that we have left in the car, I'm just hoping that it isn't the head gasket. And if we find that the head gasket isn't ruined, we will then probably look at stripping it down to the water pump. But right now, I need to preserve every single penny. So we'll head back to the barn and test the head gasket, and fingers crossed, it's not that. Apologies for this being a bit rough and ready, but I've just tried one last thing. I've had the engine running and I've turned the heater on in the car, and now we have a sizzling sound, and it's coming from this pipe. Just on the other side of the thermostat, right in there, I don't know if you can see it, but it is steaming from there, and that pipe a minute ago went like a balloon, which tells me something is blocked. Ladies and gentlemen, I have found the issue. The head gasket has gone. I'm absolutely livid. All that work to get this running. Look at this. That liquid in there should be this colour. It's up to temperature, it's turned yellow. If we go into the car, there we go. Up to temperature. We've got an engine management light on as well now. Honestly, I'm absolutely livid. I can't tell you. I've been well and truly ripped off. The car was a bargain, but the guy evidently knew that the head gasket had gone in this car. And do you know what I'm going to do next time I buy something like this? I'm going to take this test kit with me, and I'm going to do it in front of the person. What this now means is that there are exhaust gases present in the water system, which confirms the head gasket has failed. And now we're faced with a huge amount of costs. The engine will need stripping down to the cylinder head, and we'll need to send it off for re-skimming, and only then a new gasket can be fitted. Even if I do the majority of the work myself, I'm still faced with a £400 bill, and the car just simply isn't worth spending that amount of money on. So far we've racked up costs of £493.25, meaning that the car now stands us at just shy of 1,500 quid. So in summary, this car is about to cost me money, and the profit has well and truly gone. But just when I thought things couldn't get any worse... Right, yeah, away from the car. I don't know what to do in this situation. Do not buy a Mazda MX-5.